Pretty soon now, and well, 3 days from this recording, I'm gonna go on a trip with my dad and my best friend. And I'm really freaking excited. We're going out to a bunch of national parks in the West, and I've never been that far west, like past Chicago before. And I'm really excited. We're gonna see things I've never seen before, and I might never see again. And I'm gonna get to experience things with my dad I've never experienced before. I think it's going to be really fun, both because, the trip in itself will be cool, but it'll be kind of memories that I feel like I might have missed out on with my dad the rest of my childhood. Because for most of my childhood, it was always Sam, my brother, was taken care of by my dad, and I was taken care of by my mom. Like we all lived together, we all helped each other and that sort of thing, but, my mom drove me to my stuff, dad drove Sam to his stuff, that kind of stuff. And my mom has told me for years that my dad's always loved me, like a lot, and I know that he has, but only within the last, 2 years of me going off to college has he really shown it in ways that I could obviously notice. Just little things, like I'd get home from school every week, and he'd be like, oh, let me carry your bags in. Or when I moved into my first college dorm, he was insistent about switching a desk from another room because the desk that was in my room didn't have a light. Just little things. He'll give me some money or be like, hey, let's go out to lunch. And you can tell for the first time that he missed me and he loved me. Like, I knew he loved me before, but this was, I don't know. He suddenly got very soft, and it's pretty cute. So I'm very excited for this trip because my mom couldn't go, because her idea of a vacation is like sitting on a beach and relaxing and reading and stuff, because she's got a very busy, stressful life, so her vacation is time away, time to decompress. But a vacation for my dad, and also me to an extent, is, you would take a vacation to go see things, to go do things, so we're gonna sprint around and hike up mountains and that kind of thing. So it wouldn't really work out my mom wouldn't enjoy it. And then there's also the aspect of, I don't know if she probably couldn't physically keep up because she's not in the best shape at all. And my dad isn't amazing either, and that's part of the reason why it was like, okay, this is my summer to fuck around and find out, I go on 2 trips, I don't have a job that's taking up a lot of time, and my dad's in decent enough shape that we can go out and make some memories I'll remember for the rest of my life, and probably for his too. So I was talking to my mom about it, and she's like, oh man. She finally admitted that she was jealous she couldn't go, because we knew, but she just didn't say it. And of course we're trying to be as nice as possible, but I pointed out to her, almost all my memories as a kid are with her. All the trips, all the shopping, all the running around, My dad was around, but it was always with Mom. The only other thing that was ever purely with Dad was skiing. And while I did love skiing, we haven't done it in 5 or 6, maybe 7 years now, just because we got busy and also there hasn't been decent snow. But so this will be one of the first pure Dan trips, and I'm really excited for that. On the topic of my dad, the other day I was thinking about, what are some lessons I've learned from him? Because there's definitely everything, lessons you learn from both your parents, but there's some in my dad that are very clear, very distinct, and I can see how my current actions are shaped by the things he taught me years and years ago, partially as jokes, partially serious. So a little list. Keep a low center of gravity. This originally came from skiing, I think, either skiing or hiking, just when you're on a skateboard or you're skiing or you're going down a hill. You want to keep a low center of gravity, bend the knees, hunker down so you're not as topsy-turvy, And I think that's still funny, and I swear to God, I have to repeat it to Sammy every time we go down a hill because she's incapable of going down a hill without tumbling. And I just started teaching myself to skateboard recently, just out of boredom. And I took a moment and I'm like, low center of gravity, Emily, you can do it. So that one's kind of a cute one. Be perceptive. This one I think has shaped me the most. I don't know what he originally meant it by. I think he meant be aware of your surroundings. If there's a car coming, don't get hit. If someone's pulling out a weapon, you should know, or, that kind of thing. But I've kind of taken it in the sense of, and look at the little things. There's only so many big things that happen in life, but little things are happening constantly. And if you're not being perceptive, you're going to miss out on the vast majority of life. I wrote about this in my senior essay to college, talking about plants and invertebrates and all the little fungi and mosses and all the things that you would step on without thinking about. And I don't think he meant it that way, because he's never been one for the little bits of nature, but that's just how I took it. If you're not perceptive, you miss those things, like most people do. And there's so much to be found there, and well, that's a ramble for the other day, but I don't know if I'd have my current interests and be going into the field I'm going into if he hadn't ingrained that idea of being perceptive into me. And not a day goes by where I'm not ever thankful for it. The next couple are, like, he used to say they were old sayings, you know. Sometimes they were song lyrics, sometimes they were just, like, old sayings. They were always funny. You know, like, oh, more than one way to skin a cat, can't squeeze blood from a turnip, money doesn't grow on trees, that sort of thing. When I was little, me and Sam liked to memorize them, and we were proud of, like, the repertoire of old sayings we had from our dad. And I thought that was always very funny, because a lot of them were, like, old enough that no other kid had ever really heard them. Except for money doesn't grow on trees, because that's a line, I mean, that's an old saying, but it's also a line from Ain't No Rest for the Wicked by Cage the Elephant, so he found that song, was like, look, it's full of old sayings, so that was one of our songs we'd sing together in the car, because he's always had weird music taste. A more recent one, if you don't lock something, you don't want it. This is, I carry this on too much. I lock my car literally everywhere. I lock, like, little things within my house and my dorm, and everything's always locked. And it's gotten to the point where, you know, you lock yourself out sometimes. Like, there was one time freshman year of college, I went to use the, like, bathroom on the floor, took a shower, and then I went back into my room, and the door had closed from the wind, and it was locked, and I had to call security in a towel and be like, please let me in. So, it can bite you in the butt sometimes, but, you know, it's like if you love something, you should have put a ring on it. If you want something, you should lock it. I don't know. We live in a good area. We probably don't need to lock it, but, you know, you should. It's just something he ingrained in me. The final one I had written on here, and there's definitely way more lessons, but these were just the ones I could think of off the top of my head the other day, is something he really lives by every single day. And this is one thing I've known for years, just because it was a way to explain everything he did. And it's that actions speak louder than words. And while that can be frustrating sometimes, because sometimes you want words, you want to scream to the heavens everything that you're feeling inside and let out those tangled up, muddled up messes inside, but actions mean a hell of a lot, especially from a guy like him who isn't the best with words. And it, you know, when you appreciate them, it's a lot harder to do things than to just say them. So while it can be frustrating, I absolutely agree with that one too. So bringing it back around, I'm going on a trip with Sammy and my dad. And I'm very excited for the memories I'm going to make and for the ways that, you know, the things I might learn and how they might change me in the future. Because I know he's already changed me in the past. If you ever hear this, Dad, you've done a pretty good job. I love you lots. I'd hug you. But you know, it's a video. Peace.